Hi, Jeremy here from the Golfing Curriculum. Today we're talking about chipping, in particular how to make good contact, and two myths that really get in the way of golfers being able to do just that. We'll find out what they are, we'll talk about some drills to make sure that you're not falling into the traps, and I'll show you also how it's so easy that I can do it both left and right-handed. So firstly, myth number one is that you have to be shallow in your angle of attack, that the club mustn't come in this fashion with a steep angle of attack. Now, a steep angle of attack is absolutely fine if you catch the ball first and the ground second. You see how the club stays low after impact, that'll take a little divot and there'll be a little bit of shaft lean, which is myth number two. You can chip with shaft lean and you can chip with a steep angle of attack, and if you try to be too shallow and you try to have not so much shaft lean, that will lead you into fats and thins and be an almighty mess. I recently had a pupil come and he was a good golfer, low teens handicap, and he was making one huge mistake, and he was topping, fatting, and doing all kinds of things. I asked him whether he thought he was too steep or too shallow in his angle of attack. That would be steep, of course, this would be shallow. And he said, oh, it must be too steep. And of course, he was the opposite. His angle of attack was way too shallow and he was trying to make it shallower. What does that mean? Well, he was trying to make the club come in, not in this fashion here with the downward angle of attack. He was trying to make it come in super low to the ground so that the club almost stayed level with the grass for the whole foot either side of the ball. And to do that, what he was doing was taking the club inside the line here, which will do exactly that. It will bring the club low to the ground at this point, so much so in fact that you will actually hit the ground. And if you miss the ground, the club is on the rise. So what you have done inadvertently by coming in here and trying to be shallow is built in an up swing. Swings a circle, goes down, goes along and comes back up again. We need to make contact in this bit, the downward bit. The downward bit, ball first, ground second. See the club staying low enough to take a divot after the ball. If you come inside in an attempt to be shallow, then that will end in disaster because it moves the low point back. People who hook the ball very often have problems with chipping. People who slice the ball very often don't, because their divot, if you swing on this line, is moved forwards. So the solution was, firstly, adjust the concept and then adjust the swing so that the club hits parallel here. Even a little bit outside the hands is fine, but behind the hands, to any degree at all, will be a massive problem because it moves the low point too far back. So all we did was get John onto the clock, as I call it, because this is what I would call 9 o'clock and the club is horizontal and parallel. And what you will see in the follow through is that it's the same, horizontal and parallel. So the club is a mirror image on either side of a swing of that length, probably a bit long for this shot, but you get the idea. Horizontal and parallel is key. Once he started doing that, his divot moved forwards and he was able then, I can show you this from here, he was able to hit ball first and ground second with the club coming around him, no chance at all. And it really just took 5 minutes. In fact, it wasn't a lesson at all. I just saw him on the chipping green, said hello, and he said, oh yeah, I'm not hitting these very well, so I gave him a bit of a hand, but it didn't take long at all. And what he found was that instead of coming around here and feeling like he made a huge turn of the shoulders, got the weight onto the right foot, this is what happens. Big turn here, club behind you, and then rocking back and staying on the back foot in the follow through. What he was able to do was swing the arms straighter back, less turn. He felt he was making no turn at all, but in fact it was a nice matchup. Third of a swing and a third of a turn. If the club hits parallel, these match up really nicely. The arm swing is a third of a swing, the shoulder turn is a third of a full shoulder turn, and then you've got somewhere to go in the rest of the swing. You can often learn a lot about the long game from the short game, and this is a very good illustration. Once you hit first parallel, the next spot is easier, and you've still got more turn to the top as well as you swing your arms up. I digress a little bit, but it's worthy of note. Not only that, backswing follow through is the same as, if I do this towards you, as left-handed. You can see the swing on this side is a mirror image on either side. 9 o'clock here, 3 o'clock here. It's the same. So your swing path determines your angle of attack to some degree, and if you believe that you have to be shallow and you try and make it with an inside takeaway, then that will end in thins, fats, maybe a shank or two as well, because as you swing through at this side, the arms are leaving the body. That brings the heel into play, and John was getting a few of those as well. So that's myth number 1 gone. Myth number 2 is that you can't play with the hands leading the shaft. Well, of course you can. If you're going to hit the ball first and the ground second, your hands aren't in front to some extent, then you are in big trouble. If the club leads the hands and the shaft leans back like this, that's a recipe for disaster. The hands must lead to some extent. Now you can see you can do that quite a lot, and that will de-loft the club face quite a lot. Great if you've got a bad lie and you want to play a chip and run, you need extra steepness to get through all the thick grass, and that way you actually can. Now what you mustn't do if you're going to play with the shaft leaning a lot is lean your head back, because if you do that, then you'll take the biggest divot imaginable, and you'll think possibly that you were too steep, because that could only be caused by a steep swing, couldn't it? Well, actually no, it's caused by the head moving back, not because your hands were leading too much. If your head's forward in the correct spot like it is here, then the divot, although it's quite deep, soft ground here today, will be by the right heel, which is hopefully where you've put the ball. So to say, oh, I was too shallow, is not right. Now you can see that's actually a steeper swing, but the divot is less deep than it would be if I was back here. You can see the only difference really is the head position. It's not caused by the hands leading. Hands leading is absolutely fine. I once read a great article by Paul Runyan, who you may not know, was a great player from the 1930s, won the PGA Championship twice when it was match play, had an unbelievable short game. He described 3 shots. Number 1, the pinch, where the hands lead. You trap the ball. Number 2, the lob, where the hands are slightly more up. Now you need a good lie for that, because that is going to make the club come in shallow. If the grass is really deep, then that's not your best option. Your best option would be to have the shaft forwards, but also open the face. So he said 3 options. Pinch, he called it. Lob, he called it. Or cut, when the club face was a little bit open. Those 3 variations are enough to give him a world-class short game, and I'm sure they're really good rules because they're simple. Yeah, everybody can understand that. So this would be the standard pinch shot. Yeah, hands leading the club, and if you want to check whether you've got it right or not, hold the follow through. It's always a great thing to do on chipping and putting as well. Bring your whole arm structure back without changing it, and see if it was the same as it was at address. So you're looking for this, not necessarily that, if you're trying to keep the hands passive and keep the hands leading the club. Yep, that would be a great way to check. You could video yourself as well. Now for the lob shot, the shaft is still leading, but it's just a bit more vertical, and you should get a little bit of a higher flight for that. And when would you use this? Well, obviously for a slightly softer landing shot, but you will need a better lie. So club sends the ball a little bit higher because there's more loft with less shaft lean. Still a little bit, of course. And the last shot is a cut shot, where you would have the same ball position, same swing path, but just open the club face a little bit and that should give you more loft. Now out of a bad lie, thick grass where you want a soft little shot, this is a great shot to have the pinch cut. So this should go really high, yes, and it does, much softer, much longer swing for a shorter shot. It means you can get some clubhead speed through the rough and get that ball to pop up softly as well. Really useful shot to have. Now here's a great drill to help you get this right. I put this yellow alignment stick in the way a little bit so that you have to be steep enough to miss it and get the ball first and the ground second. This red one notes the ball position opposite the trail heel. So if we've got the ball in the right spot, if the takeaway is on the clock and the weight is forward and my head is forward, then I should have no problem missing that yellow alignment stick and catching the ball first and the turf second. And there we go. I've stayed nicely forward as well. Arm structure is good. I can bring the arms back and my hands were completely passive during this shot. One of the advantages of passive hands is that they don't add any speed, so judging distance is really easy. And just like putting, a long rhythmical swing is a great way to get the right amount of acceleration and control the speed of these shots as well. So, great little drill to help you get the correct downwards angle of attack. So I hope you can see downward angle of attack, steep, not too shallow. Too shallow is not good for chipping. Steep with the hands leading is doable. Two of the best golfers of their generation, Jordan Spieth and Phil Mickelson, both got the leading edge down in their woods. You can see if the leading edge is up, bounce is exposed. That's a thin on hard ground especially. Get the leading edge down like this and slightly leading, and you can chip with total confidence that you're going to track the ball and get a nice predictable flight on it. In truth, it's the only shot you'll really need. If you want extra height, we've all got 60-degree wedges for that now as well. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video. And don't forget, there's a free download on my website. The link is in the description about how to hit a driver. Might help you find a few more fairways. With good chipping and good driving, you can't really go wrong. Thanks for watching again, and see you next time for another shot on the golfing curriculum.